And welcome to another edition of Tailgate TV. I'm here along with Cody Morris
Cody.
and the Echo. And we are introducing to most of you, some of you have already met him, but most of you, we are just meeting for the first time, the new high school football coach at Butler High School, Kyle Rhodes. Kyle comes from us all the way from Fairfax, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma is where we get some of our best imports from, it feels like.
It really is, Jackie.
Yeah.
My wife came from Oklahoma via Texas route. She kind of went the wrong way first and then made her way back in. But now, Fairfax, it's a little odd because Woodland High School is the high school in Fairfax. That threw me when I was trying to find it. I was like, where's Woodland, Oklahoma at? But it's not.
In Fairfax?
It's different. Fairfax is a small town, about 1,100, 1,200 people, something like that.
On a good day.
It's just west of Gray Horse, Oklahoma. If you know where that's at, it's just right down the road.
Okay.
No one knows where that's at.
Nobody knows.
Is there a Walmart in Fairfax?
No.
Okay.
There's not even a stoplight or anything in
Is there a
Fairfax.
gas station?
There is a gas station.
Okay.
There is one gas station. There's a Dollar General and a Family Dollar. They moved up in the world.
Okay.
So, and there's a little local diner and
Said Bucky's will be coming soon.
yeah,
They call the Dollar General.
about another 4,000 or 5,000 people. There sure to be
Right.
a Bucky's.
The gas station serve food?
Oh yeah, they have a great hot box there, and actually the guy that runs it's a friend of mine. His name's Rock, and he's whenever they're trying out new stuff for their menu, and he started a couple of food trucks and stuff. But he would, if I was ever over there, he's like, come try this, come try this. You know, being from Louisiana, obviously just by birth, I am a food critic because best food in the world comes from down there. So
I agree.
yeah,
I
it's
just apologize for the
Yeah.
food up here sometimes.
no, everything's been great so far that I've tried. But yeah, he always wanted my opinion on.
Somebody
Thanks.
wanted me to ask you the question, and I wasn't going to do it, but since you brought it up, Cajun food or Kansas City barbecue?
Ooh, yes,
You can't ride the pit. We got to pick one.
No. I think you ride the fence.
I just
You have
on the day.
same meal.
Exactly.
I'm sorry to all of our Kansas City fans. I'm going Cajun.
I can throw a mean Cajun dish down, but I do enjoy a good barbecue. Always have. Louisiana is actually kind of known for just good food, and barbecue's part of it. So,
Well, and
Well, and I'm a
So-
seafood guy, so that's just
can't go
beat it.
wrong with
originally from Moss Bluff, Louisiana,
Moss Bluff, Louisiana, which
and
is
that's close to Texas.
it is pretty close to
Yeah.
Texas. Moss Bluff's a big suburb. It's the biggest unincorporated community in that parish. Obviously, Louisiana doesn't have counties; they have
Right.
parishes. So,
Right.
it's the biggest unincorporated community, I think, in Louisiana. Honestly, it's about now. It's probably bigger. When I was there, it was 25, 30,000 people, and it's just basically neighborhoods and stores. It's parish police jury. There was no like city government or anything, but
Gotcha.
Sam Houston High School is the school that's there, and that
Right.
covers all that area. So, actually, went to a pretty big high school. Now they're the biggest class that Louisiana has, but when I was there, we were always just a few people from being the biggest class. We were a 4A school. They had
which probably helps you in the competition level because you're playing in schools that are smaller.
for the most part, in our district, and our district was always one of those really tough buzzsaw districts. When I was in high school, I think every year somebody in our district was the state runner up.
Wow.
Every year I was in high school, not my team, but the teams that were in our district, as back when you can look them up, John Curtis and Evangel and stuff were, and they're still really, really good schools down there, but we're like nationally ranked.
Wow.
I think my senior year, my last game in high school was against John Curtis High School, and I think they were the number 2 team in the nation that year.
Wow.
They stepped off the bus looking like,
Men.
the New Orleans Saints would
Right.
not give them that much of a problem. They were men among boys for sure. I think they had 2 guys go to the NFL and like 6 guys go D1 and a whole bunch of other guys go a lot of different places. But yeah, they were pretty stout.
So you again, and I know you've got questions lined up, and I'm just throwing them out the window.
No way.
But it's rare that in this area, I meet somebody who is also a New Orleans Saints fan. I'm assuming you're
Do that, baby.
okay.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. I was actually, funny thing is my dad is from Illinois. And so I was raised a Bears fan.
My dad's a Bears fan.
Until I was like 10 or 11 years old. And once I got to kind of middle school, I was like, the Saints are actually pretty good. Went from the paper bags, the where the Whodats come from to, I don't know if y'all remember this in the 90s, the Cha-Ching. They were on like a 8 or 9 game win streak.
Yeah.
And so all the Cha-Ching for another win. And so I was like, I'm going to start rooting for my team down there. And then of course, living in New Orleans for a few years, it's a different experience to be able to go to the Superdome and do that. We moved there right after, about 5 years after the hurricane. So everything had kind of come
when
back.
They were starting to get good too.
And they were really good. Drew Brees was there.
2009.
2006 was the first game back in the Superdome.
2009 was the Super Bowl year, if I remember right. So
2000, that's January 2010. So the 2009 season.
Yeah. So because I became a Saints fan the year Katrina hit.
Yes.
And because that was about the time that I was getting old enough to really get into football. And I was like, I'm from Arkansas. We don't have a team. So I'm going to pick a team.
You're correct. Arkansas doesn't have a team.
Right. They have a group that they put out at the collegiate level. Wouldn't call them a team right now. But so I was like, I need to pick a team. And I was like, let's cheer for these guys. They just went through something tragic. And that's why.
And they moved up to Oklahoma City for a little bit. And then they were at Baton Rouge and they kind of shuffled around to a few different places. So, I mean, I think they really won the hearts of a lot of the United States.
That's when they took. Well, and being from Arkansas, Southern Arkansas, especially, you're either a New Orleans fan or a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
And I wasn't on the Cowboys
fan.
No, against that completely.
Yeah. So we have a good time because there's obviously a big rivalry between the Saints and the Cowboys. And so all my friends that are Cowboys fans, we always give them a good hard time about it.
And it's easy to do.
There's a few up here, not many, but there's a few Cowboy fans. Lance Sargent, talking to you.
Richard Sargent.
Is he?
Oh yeah.
Both Cowboy fans.
Yeah, their whole family got tainted, I think. I don't know
what happened to them. Yeah.
Somewhere along the way.
Poor young man.
Now, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, a lot of the reason why y'all's fathers were Bears fans was obviously the '85 Bears were.
Sure.
I mean, that
Super Bowl I remember watching was that Super Bowl.
That was a great season for the Bears.
I don't know where my dad got into it because he just became a Chicago sports fan. He is a Bears and a Cubs fan, and I'm just like Cubs. A lot of people I feel like,
WGN.
I say Cubs and Braves. Those are the nationally televised.
Right.
If you just get into sports and you didn't have your own, like those are the two that you could see.
Yeah. Exactly. And they came on. Cubs played during the day because they didn't have lights at Wrigley Field, and then went right into the pregame.
Feel like we played games at Sherwood again.
Yeah, no kidding. And then went right into WTS or TNT or TBS and watched the Braves play. I spent many a day watching doubleheaders of baseball. That was a lot of fun. A lot of good ball clubs and during that time.
So through, and I think, am I stepping on your toes?
No.
Are you about to ask the same question?
Probably not.
Through all of this, I mean, we're talking a lot of sports. At some point, you got into sports. At some point, you started playing. How'd that look for you? What was your first sport? Where was the time you were like, this is something I'm going to get into?
Well, here's a weird thing about me is I have one of these really strange abilities to remember things from when I was little. Like I'll tell my parents, like, I remember this happened. They're like, you were 2. How do you remember that happened?
Right.
We've never told you that story. How do you remember? So I actually remember my dad coming home my dad was a coach. He coached high school football and softball and track. And so obviously you got to hang out with dad a whole bunch while he was doing that. But I still remember him coming home one day and going, you want to play T-ball? And I was like, I don't know what T-ball is, but yeah, I want to play it. Sure. So started playing that. And honestly, I was a really undersized kid. I know I'm a kind of tall guy and kind of big and lanky now, but I was just small and lanky then. But I played T-ball, and then whenever I was old enough to start playing Little League football, which they didn't have it like we do now, which, kindergarten, first grade, you're starting to play that.
Oh, yeah.
Back then it was, 5th grade, you could start playing some tackle football. And so got to do that. And obviously being with dad every Saturday, every chance I could get, I was up there I was one of those coaches' office brats, riding around on the golf cart on the football field, may or may not have flipped it a few times. with some of the other coaches' kids, and
It's a rumor.
yeah, getting to be a ball boy on the sidelines on Friday night while the high school's playing when you're 6 or 7 years old. It's really I know. I taught middle school for years. It's really kind of a fun experience. Of course, I was a terrible ball boy because I would hang out for the first half, and the second half I'd go play, smash mouth football behind the stands with everybody else.
Where's that ball boy at?
Yeah, they're like, we need to get a ball in. I'm like, somebody else can do that. One of those middle school kids that's on the sideline that's always trying to boss us around can do it. So got to do that a lot. And so that was a big experience. And obviously getting into high school, being able to play, actually got to play for my dad. Played all 4 years in high school. Like I was telling you guys earlier, I went to a bigger high school in Louisiana, a little over 1,000 enrollment. So like I think my freshman year in high school, there was like 100 boys on the team.
Oh, wow.
And then I think like we probably had 85 to 90 on the varsity team, every year. So, great competition. Louisiana is obviously known for NFL talent, all over the state, and, got to play against a lot of that, even though I was, like almost 6'3" and 160 pounds dripping wet my senior year in high school playing linebacker.
I was just going to ask. I
played outside linebacker.
A little undersized.
So it was good enough to be an all district player and, solid on my team.
And in it, you were saying your district was pretty stout too.
We were really stout. Like
all district player in that district.
Every year we had a lot of D1 type athletes on the field. Usually not at my school. Now they actually have one of the top ranked, actually two. One of my good friends there, that's still back in Moss Bluff. His son actually just signed with Penn State as a deep snapper, full ride. He's like a 5-star deep snapper.
Wow.
So very impressive. And then they have another kid there. His name's Albert Simeon. He's a 5-star. I think he just committed to Notre Dame. And he's one of the top ranked in the country. So they've got and they've expanded like that whole complex that school is really known for baseball. Actually a guy I went to high school with, graduated with, has won a couple of just won back-to-back state championships in the highest level. And they're usually nationally ranked in baseball there. So a lot of good competition, got to do that. So played football 4 years, played golf for 3 years there, and ran track my senior year, which I really wish I'd have run all 4 years because I had such a good time doing it my senior year. But it was one of those things at our football banquet. My defensive coordinator was like, Rhodes, you going to come run the 400 for me this year? And I was like, sure, coach, I'll come do that. You asked me. And so I had a blast doing that. Of course, he switched me to the 4x4. I was not a good straight 400 runner.
Right.
Really good the first 330 yards. Really good. Last 70, that monkey would jump on my back, and I barely made it across the finish line. But so we were decent, as a just, track team in general, but we had a good time. I always enjoyed sports. Unfortunately, I was one of these, like so many of our kids, I wasn't passionate about anything in high school. I really wasn't passionate about anything. I was a great student, just because I wanted to be good at things. I enjoyed all the sports I played, but I really didn't have the passion and drive to push myself to the very next level. And so just kind of was bouncing around. Obviously, I think we talked about it earlier. Went to LSU on an academic scholarship, so did a couple years there, and then
which is impressive.
Yeah, it was really a great experience. That's Baton Rouge is a great town, and LSU is a wonderful school. Definitely. I mean, obviously, I'm biased. I think it's probably the best in the SEC, especially in the old SEC West, especially those that have a big goal.
I mean, you've been so right about so many things. It's fun to be wrong about.
If you pretty much just have the big gold boot at your place all the time, it says something. Sure, probably. Sure, okay.
I have to say that.
Yeah, it's just a requirement.
It doesn't leave LSU.
So
it has.
It has.
It does. And usually departures for
what Lou Holtz, the coach, did when it.
The unfortunate thing is it's always an upset whenever it goes back to Arkansas.
Correct.
So that's how it always is.
They have to build a trophy cabinet because they don't have one.
But yeah, then really where I kind of got back into the sports after that, because obviously through my 20s and stuff, it wasn't really a big deal. But when my kids got to age, then it was like I wanted to be there for them. I wanted to help them out. So I started doing little league sports, little league baseball, little league football, all this stuff, helping them out with that. And then, I'd thought about it for years while I was in school that maybe I'd want to be a coach. But then obviously with my dad being a coach, I'm aware that high school coaches are not in it for the money.
Correct.
So that was kind of a thing where I was like, I would not like to only make what you make a year. So I'm going to try to do something different. And everybody's like, you should be a doctor. So I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. And actually, into my freshman year at LSU, I was actually in some dorms with some of my friends, and one of the guys that had just graduated or was about to graduate had just gotten his letter to get into medical school. Yep. And I was like, well, how much longer do you have for that? He's like, well, I got this many years of this, and this many years of this, and this many years of that. And I was like,
that's the hope of a doctor.
I started doing this math, and I was like, I just finished 12 years of school. I don't want to do 12 more years of school. That sounds horrible.
Yes.
And so kind of changed paths a little bit. That's where I really kind of looked back into getting into the coaching. And so life just kind of got in the way of that for a while. And so I bounced around to some different jobs. I was salesperson. Obviously, I waited tables during college a lot, which I highly suggest anybody should wait tables just to get to know how to deal with the public, and how to be in service to people and understand what people go through.
And when you go back to restaurants, you know how to treat people.
Exactly. It tells a lot about people whenever how they treat people that are in service positions.
No question.
I feel like that's a big part of it. But I had a great time doing it. And then actually worked as a bank manager for several years.
Interesting.
So as a retirement specialist, I did a few different things before I wound up going back to seminary and finishing my degree.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, somewhere along that line, or maybe afterwards, you got married.
Actually early 2000,
Okay.
Married my wife, Brooke, and we have 4 sons.
Okay.
Our oldest, who's 28, and our youngest just turned 21. So my oldest son has a family of his own. They live up in Lee's Summit. I've got 2 grandsons, 4 years
awesome.
old and almost a year. So it'll be a year at the end of the month. So
that's great stuff.
So yeah, we're loving that. And that's part of the reason we made a move this direction. It's because while he's in the service. And so while he was stationed at Fort Bragg for like the last 3 years, we only were getting to see our grandkids and him, not to put that we didn't want to see him, obviously. It's really great. All my boys are really close. And so, but we want to be able to see the grandkids more. And so now we're less than an hour away from them. So we try to see them about once a week, every other week if we can.
And that's great for the grandkids as well. I mean,
especially when you're the favorite person. Like my 4-year-old grandson, I'm pretty sure I'm his favorite person in the world. So he always likes to, can we go to Pop's house? Can we go to Pop's house? So awesome. He wants to do that. My younger grandson's still warming up to me. I think his lolly is more of a favorite than his Pops is.
So let me get a lolly and Pops.
Lolly and Pops, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun. I like that.
It's good. My oldest son always, for some reason, has called me Pops. And so I was like, that's going to be my grandpa name. You get to pick your grandpa.
That's
as long as they can pronounce it. And so we've had several Nanas in the family already. Right. And my wife's like, I'm not going to be a meemaw. I'm not going to be a granny. Right. And so I said, why don't we do Lolly? Because there's a candy store at one of the malls in Tulsa that's called Lolly and Pops. And I was like, there's your grandma name. And she's like, Lolly. I kind of like that. That works. We can do that. So she's Lolly and I'm Pop.
I do like that. Like that. I always called my dad Pop.
Yeah.
And so my boys call me Pop.
Yeah.
And then my granddaughters, I think I'm Pops. Yeah. So
I think in my family, we're kind of devolving because my grandfather we called him Pawpaw Fish because he was Pawpaw. Right. But he always went fishing. And so he'd always go, Kyle, you want to come see the fish? Whenever they would go to the house to clean them and stuff.
Sure.
And I'd be like, Pawpaw Fish, Pawpaw Fish.
Made the connection, sure.
And my dad is Pawpaw.
Right.
And now I'm Pops. So I guess one of my sons is just going to be Paw. And then my grandson's going to just be P. Yeah. So
that's funny.
We'll kind of devolve in that way, I guess.
Well, that's all right. That's a good thing. And, Pawpaw is kind of a Southern thing. Oh, yeah. Right? Very much a Southern
I got a Meemaw and Pawpaw.
I had a Meemaw.
Yep.
Down there.
Half of us called her Meemaw and the other half called her Mamaw. So Grandma and
Meemaw. Mine wanted to be Grammymaw.
Grammymaw?
Oh, yeah. And that was what she tried to put. And I'm the oldest grandkid. And I guess I just
dropped the Grammy part.
I just dropped the Gram and I just called her Meemaw and stuck.
There you go.
Yeah. She's always mad at me about that. I wanted to be Grammymaw and you ruined it.
Yeah. I think the Mamaw part was our accent because obviously I'm from Louisiana. I'm from South Louisiana, but I don't really have that Louisiana accent. Now I do have some family members that do, but it's probably because we're from real West Louisiana, almost East Texas.
Right.
And so we were more country. We were like, "Hey, Mama, you want to come see this?" Like that was us growing up, and I kind of grew out of that. But I do have the families that they do talk a little bit like that, and they come on, Shaq, come look at this. You know, I do have that family in my in the repertoire. So I do miss that Louisiana accent a lot. Being able,
not as much as you miss the food, though, right?
The food. I'll tell you what, we have no desires to ever move back to Louisiana. We have family there. We love them. We miss the people and we miss the food. But Louisiana is hot.
Yeah,
it's
and
congested. The amount of traffic down there is insane. I get mad just crossing the state lines. So
I tell my wife all the time I wouldn't mind having a house there to go and visit, but I would never want. Well, we grew up fairly close. Like we'd run down for different things, but then my mom actually lived near the Biloxi area. So we would, every time we'd go visit mom, go to New Orleans for a weekend. Like, we'd not from there near as much as you are, but we would spend quite a bit of time down there. And I'm like, I love being down there.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
Fantastic place to go.
I don't know if I live down there.
Visit. So yeah, if the governor wants to give me a sponsorship, definitely go visit Louisiana. Lots of great things down there.
Yeah.
You might fall in love with it and want to stay. I'm enjoying the cooler weather. It's even cooler here from where we moved in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So they're hitting 104 like every day over there.
You say that until winter hits, and then you're out of school for 2 weeks because
that's the crazy thing is that the cold doesn't really bother me that much.
I've said that you should be in Frozen. The cold never bothered you anyway.
Yeah.
But I said that, and then I moved to North Dakota.
Is that
for a winter
from Frozen?
You need to go home and watch Frozen.
Now that's excessive. North Dakota is excessive.
Yes. So I was 19, 18. My dad was stationed in Minot, North Dakota, which I don't even know where Minot is, but it's an hour from the Canadian border. It's up there.
Pretty sure my cousin was stationed there.
It was in the Air Force?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So probably was. And so I went to Arkansas Tech University, decided to transferred up to Minot, and dude, I transferred up there in the winter semester too, and it was not good.
There's something unnatural about having to drive your truck out onto a lake to go catch a fish. There's just something not right about that in my mind. So,
first day there, totaled my truck because I didn't know how to drive on ice. First
it's different. It's different.
As a 19-year-old kid from Arkansas, I didn't drive on ice.
No,
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, "Well, did you pump your brakes?" No. Why would I do that? Well, that's what you do. Nobody told me.
My family still gets all really excited whenever it snows, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's nice today.
Right.
It won't be nice in a couple of days."
Well, but down there, it doesn't stay for a couple of days.
Exactly.
It's
gone.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, it's different ballgame.
It is. We're going to take a short commercial break and then be right back with more Tailgate TV.
Here at Butler Sonic, we strive to provide exceptional customer service. Using our friendly car hops, we provide delicious food and, of course, ice cold drinks. We are locally owned and operated and have been for over 40 years. We're honored to be part of the Bates County community. If you don't feel like cooking, come by your local Sonic here. We'll get you all taken care of. Live free, eat Sonic. And remember, the podcast is always better with the Sonic drink in your hand.
Welcome back. We would like to thank Sonic for the sponsoring Tailgate TV and all of our other sponsors. We'll get them in real quick. Butler Chamber of Commerce, CNS Graphics. That's a Sonic thing right there.
It is.
O3 Customs. Thanks for the hats. We love these hats. Emmanuel Baptist Church. Appreciate them. Hey, go check them out, by the way. They're growing all the time, doing a lot of great things over there. And Prepcast, you can check those out. Get on prepcast.com and you can watch all, or at least a big majority of all of the sporting events at Butler High School and around the surrounding areas. Alpine City has one. I think there's one over in St. Clair County. You can watch them over there. Adrian is taking a break this year, but they'll be back next year. So if you'll maybe miss out, you have to go to live ball games in Adrian, but then come back and plug that in. So we appreciate the sponsors very much. Appreciate what they do for the communities and everything else. So we are back again with Coach Kyle Rhodes. We appreciate him being here, and we've kind of went through a little bit of his early life and kind of getting into sports, and coaching. But what led you to Oklahoma? That's a big one.
So that's kind of an interesting story in itself. I I think we mentioned it earlier. I went to seminary in New Orleans. I am an ordained Baptist pastor. I was down there. I was working at a small church, and I was kind of getting to the point where I was doing some youth pastor stuff. It's kind of the natural progression, right?
Sure.
You're a youth pastor, and then I said, I think I want to go be a pastor, preach on the weekly and all this stuff. And so we started putting out resumes. There's a whole, like, your Indeed and your stuff, but it's just for churches. There's a bunch of them out there.
There is.
And so we put out so many resumes, and I was still full-time in school, working on my master's. I was working full-time at 2 different places, and then doing the church stuff in addition to that. So I kind of told my wife, I said, hey, you kind of know where my heart is on this. You've got all my stuff. Why don't you, if you see a church that kind of fits what we're looking for, send them a resume, send them a, CD, DVD, whatever we've got for them. So she started doing that, but she said, I've got 2 things. And I said, what's your 2 things? She says, I'm not going to apply to any churches in Florida. And I said, Florida, okay. Why not? She goes, well, there's sinkholes. And I said, okay, all right. Hurricanes aren't a problem for us being from Louisiana, but sinkholes, that's a whole different animal. I said, and then she goes, or Oklahoma. I said, well, why not Oklahoma? She goes, tornadoes.
Oh.
So I said, okay, that's fine. That gives me, 48 other states we can apply to.
Hurricanes you can see coming.
Yes, exactly.
From a distance,
they're just
right?
100-mile wide tornado is what it is, but you can get out of the way of them if you need to.
Exactly.
So anyway, we've been doing that for a couple months. We actually were talking to a church from Utah, and she said, hey, look, I found this really cute little church in this little place called Fairfax, Oklahoma. I said, I thought you didn't say it. She goes, yeah, but this looks really like adorable, small town, smaller church. And I said, okay, well, you can put in for that. All of a sudden I get friends going, hey, I got people with funny accents, which I don't really see the Oklahoma accent very much.
Right.
I can tell if somebody's from Oklahoma. There's a couple of different ways they pronounce some vowels that are different, but I can't really reproduce the accent. But so they start calling my references and stuff. And so we wound up visiting with them via Skype and stuff. And so we wound up going up there, and it was just like the right fit. And so we wound up moving to this little town, Fairfax, First Osage Baptist Church. And that's how we got to Oklahoma. Which it was a bivocational, which I know a lot of our pastors today are bivocational.
Absolutely.
For those of you that don't know, it means that that's not their only job. They're going to go do something else on the side, their own business, or like I wound up doing working for a school, which was kind of an interesting story. When we moved up there, all of our boys had been homeschooled while we were in seminary. My wife homeschooled. And so, which
hard
is
job of itself.
Very difficult job, especially when, I always joke, my youngest son couldn't read until he was in 4th grade because we couldn't figure it out how to teach him. Like he didn't get it from mom and dad. We had to actually take him to a reading specialist. He learned to read, and he actually loves to read now, but, and he's really smart. He's going to be a PA. He's going to OSU this year.
Awesome.
Just finished his associates. Him and his next oldest brother just graduated, both the same from, Northwestern Oklahoma. Got their associate's degrees. So he's taken his down to Oklahoma State. They both are actually. My 3 youngest boys all live together in Stillwater. They all just moved into it's a party pad. They've kind of converted it a little bit. They actually had all the families, the moms and grandmas, and everybody came over because they wanted to show off the house. They had done some improvements to it and stuff. So they want, like, what kind of 20-year-old guys have their family come over to their, but it's like, it's a party pad. Like you can tell, like there were some parties in there. So, so they getting to do that. And, but the 2 youngest ones were going into middle school there. And so my wife went, we talked a little bit earlier about Fairfax. Fairfax is the schools of Ralston and Fairfax merged together in 91 and became Woodland.
Gotcha.
So you were saying earlier how you couldn't find Woodland.
Right.
It's not an actual place.
Right.
Fun story on how they named that, but that's for another time, I guess. But she was down there visiting the school during the summer, and she got a flat tire. So she called me to come change the tire. So I went and changed the tire. And while she was there, she's like, hey, why don't you come meet the principal and some of the teachers? So I went in. Before I left there, the principal offered me a job.
Awesome. Because
I have a science and math background from when I was at LSU, going through pre-med stuff, have a lot of that. So I have a minor in science. And so she said, my science teacher is going to be retiring like next year. why don't you come on this year? You can run our in-school detention and you can work on getting your teacher certification. So that's what I did. And it was a really great thing. And then my 2 older sons were in high school as freshman and sophomore. And so I started just kind of, because I was on staff there, I was kind of going and helping out with watching some practice. And we were 8-man at that time at that school. It's a really small school in Oklahoma.
Right.
Smallest school to play 11-man football for the last few seasons in the state. And but that was one of the 4 years. They went down to 8-man for 4 years and then came back up. And so I was helping out there. And sometimes I'd be like a scout team. I'd be a wide receiver or something for the scout team. And so got to really participate a lot of that stuff. And then when they went back up to 11-man from 8-man, they decided they were going to hire a new coach. And so he was wanting to hire some more coaches. And so I said, hey, I would really like to coach football. And he came by and visited. And his big question was, you have 2 sons on the team. Can you coach them, fairly? Sure. Not be too hard on them, but not also give them the benefit of doubt. I said, yeah, I've done it before. It's not a problem. It didn't hurt that my oldest son was 6'2", 220 pounds, in high school. He was a pretty good player. He wound up going to OBU and playing football down there for a few years. But so that's how I kind of got my start. And I'll be really honest with you. I was a terrible football coach for my first 3 years because I didn't know anything about high school football. I knew a lot about from what I did whenever I was in high school, which was my position. Sure. I knew about how to do little league football and kind of the basic stuff on that, but had no clue. And then it was after that, really started, that coach wound up moving on to a different spot. And they promoted one of the younger coaches from the staff that had been there for a few years. Great coaching mentor for me. Had a lot of great coaching mentors over the years. And from that wound up really starting everything in the game really started clicking. And we were very successful. I think from 2020 through 2025, we playoffs every year. We lost to the eventual state champion or the state runner-up 5 out of those 6 years. Other years we lost to a semifinalist team. We made it to the semis 1 year, made it to the quarters a couple of years. We obviously we won state in 2024, which was an amazing season there, 14-0, and not a game was close. So,
yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh,
yeah, it was
smoking some people.
We were our big rival there, one of our big rivals anyway, Hominy High School. They came to our place and we beat them by 20, and that was our closest game of the season. So
I was going to say, I looked up and I don't know how I got there, but I saw this thing on there and it said that in 2024, you were the 7th highest scoring team in the nation. That's impressive.
Here's the next.
Is that all classes too?
That's in the nation.
Yeah, it was
something teams that play.
Like 7.
We scored 753 points that season, I think.
Yeah. In 14 games.
In 14 games, and here's the other part. 9 of those 14 games were running clock.
Right.
And all but 2 of those games our starters played 1 series in the third quarter or less. Yeah. Some of the games we didn't even come out. We actually had 1 game stopped in the third quarter. It started raining and the other team was just like, we're good.
Yeah. We're good.
We're good.
Wow.
So it was, I think we were 48-0 at halftime.
So is that what we can expect this year at Butler? Are you bringing all of that back?
I would love to say that that's the case. I don't know. I'm going to bring something different than Butler's seen. I think it's a little bit different than a lot of the teams in Missouri, at least from the film that I've watched so far. My scheme and what we do is a little bit different, so I'm hoping that's the case. We were great, and I was a defensive coach. I've been the defensive coordinator and the special teams coordinator for about the whole time I was there. Special teams the whole time. Defensive coordinator picked up in 2019 because that's who they promoted to head coach.
Right.
And like that season, not only did we averaged like 53 points a game or something crazy like that, but we actually gave up 10 points per game. And if you took the JVs out of it, we averaged the other team we gave up like less than 5 points a game.
Yeah.
My varsity. So
it is odd. You just mentioned that, but it is odd. It's always been odd to me that you can almost talk about an offense and say, "Oh, well, that's from this state," right? Because it is so different from state to state.
Footballs are
it is really regional.
It's very funny to me. And obviously with the spread and all that stuff, it kind of came in from the Oklahoma, Texas-y kind of an area, but then it's, of course, it's spread, but that everybody runs it, even that they run a little bit different.
Right. And we will too. We've affectionately, actually, one of the coaches that we played against in Oklahoma called our offense the sling tee instead of the wing tee, because we'll do a lot of multi formations without really changing players. So it's like we're 5 wide, and then all of a sudden we've got all 11 guys in there tight with multiple guys in backfield. We use a lot of I'm not going to go with 21 and 12 personnel and stuff, but a lot of double tight end kind of stuff. Sure. We do a lot of that. We use a fullback a good bit. We'll go up shotgun most of the stuff, but we'll get under center for a lot of it. And it's a lot of old wing tee concepts just put into the spread offense. So what it does, it allows us to really pack the box and make teams stop the run, and then we'll spread the field out and then still make the team stop the run.
Sure.
And then, but we'll also throw it. You know, you got to pick your poison as a defensive coordinator, what's the biggest threat? And so by putting in good pass concepts that are not crazy, complicated, you can really do that where you can stretch the field out and absolutely done it. And in that, we've had in this offense, we've had multiple 1,000-yard rushers. We had a kid one season, I think he rushed for like 30 something touchdowns. He was nationally ranked as, he's our quarterback. And then we hardly threw the ball that year because he was a great running quarterback.
Why would you?
Pretty much overthrew everybody. I think he had like 300 yards total passing that season, but rushed for like 1,900 yards or something crazy like that.
What? So now that you're here and you've got to see a little bit of the team, you got to work on some things. Is there something that you're like, man, I'm excited about this? Like what's excited you so far?
There's a lot of things that are really exciting about me. One, that the kids have bought in. That's a
important,
big part of it. To where I'm talking to some of the staff and administrators, and they're bringing up certain kids. They're like, "How's he been this summer? How's he?" I'm like, "It's been great. He's a leader. He's vocal. He's locked in. He's buying into stuff." And I've got a lot of kids that are like that. One of the things the kids have really been pushing for is they want to kind of change that culture. They kind of feel like there's too many kids walking the halls, not doing anything. They want there to be a little bit more school pride, school spirit. They want the participation. I know a lot of people on Facebook probably saw it last week. We kind of ended our summer stuff by doing a little service project.
Yep, I did see that.
And I had several kids all summer like, I kind of brought it up whenever I was introducing myself to the team. This is a big thing that I want to do. We're going to give back to our community in different ways. And I want to do a service project. They're like, when are we going to do it? What are we going to do? And I'm kind of looking for things. And then I saw that the city is doing the brush pickup this week. And so I said, why don't we go around to some of these houses that have brush that haven't been picked up yet? There's probably a reason. And we'll just move. We don't have to, it's not a lot of organization. We're not having to get trucks and trailers and everything. We literally walk the streets of town. If we saw anybody with stuff in their backyard, we go knock on the door, ask permission, had the kids doing it, offer our services, and we just haul that stuff to the curb and got a great response for that. And the kids were really excited. In fact, my high school kids, because it was a high school project, said, "Can the junior high come join us?"
Wow. Good for them.
I said, absolutely, the junior high. So we had probably about 20, I think we wound up with like 25 or 26 high school kids and like 15 junior high kids come out that day. And then we all went up to Adrian and ate Mexican food afterwards as a big group. So I don't know, we were flexing on the Blackhawks, I guess. Butler Bears up there.
Well, and you mentioned a little bit when we were talking earlier about ministry. And obviously you have a ministry background and how you're still in ministry and ministry's just changed.
Right.
And so as you talk about that service project, like just motivating these young men to do service and to serve others, like that ties in with you're teaching these kids more than football.
It's more than football. And that's one of the things I love about football is that it's more than just the game. I love the game.
Sure.
But I love the brotherhood and what it does to creating, today's culture has so much stuff against toxic masculinity and things like that. And it's not really, that's not the case. So we want to teach young men how to be young men, how to be men. And so masculinity is part of it. It's a gift from God. I believe that's part of what we do. And so teaching them how to do that in the right way, to where we're not just out there grunting and throwing things around. But we're actually using what God has given us to serve others and help others in that way, and build up our communities and build up our families. I always have a thing that I tell, since I've been a teacher, I've taught everything from 5th grade all the way up to seniors in high school. And so for the last few years, I've been a high school teacher, and that's a lot of fun, but it was a lot of fun doing middle school. And I always tell my kids, middle school on, you're making decisions now as 12 and 13-year-olds that will affect your children. I said, some of you are in situations in life right now that you don't like and you have no control of because of the decisions that your parents made and the things that they were choosing to do when they were your age.
That's right.
Because it starts kind of down a path. And so it can be the things you get involved in, the people that you're hanging out with, even the media that you consume and all this stuff all goes into it. I was like, so I'm just telling you right now, you can start making decisions now that don't only affect your future, but affect the next generation's future. And I really see that as, a great opportunity for, coaches in general to be able to influence the next generation. Billy Graham has a great quote that says, a coach in 1 year will impact more lives than the average person in a lifetime. And I believe that that's really true. I mean, we get to spend so much time with the kids. We get to kind of shape them. We get to hear about their problems that they aren't going to want to talk to their parents about, or that their parents don't care about, quite honestly. And I hate that. That's my generation. As far as it's kind of gone by the wayside a little bit, I feel like. So we get to kind of deal with that. We get to kind of give them correction from a different standpoint, that they recognize that coach is trying to make me better. He's not trying to control me. That's what I'm hoping that I'm getting across these kids. I want them to be better, not just football players, right, not just athletes, but better humans. Yeah, better men. And that's really kind of where I feel like my ministry has kind of been changed. And I told the kids before the end of the last school year, when I was kind of saying, hey, look, our summer is going to be different this year. And it was. We had a great turnout for the summer. Yeah, boys, girls, middle schools. Okay. Had a lot of kids come out. We had a lot of kids really stick with it and really work really hard. It's kind of funny. I've never been a girls coach. I've always joked, like, I will not coach girls sports. I will not coach girls. I can't handle the crying and the emotions and all that stuff that girls kind of do that don't make sense to me. But I tell you what, the girls were great this summer. In fact, sometimes I'd get in there and I'd be like, hey, this is what the boys did. Let me change the They'd be like, no, we want to do the same workout the boys did. Yeah. Sometimes I'd have to change them. Like, they had longer to work out than you did. You won't get all this done. Right. So I'd have to change that. And that was the only acceptable thing. Everything else was like, they wanted to do exactly what the guys were doing, and had a lot of them show up every single day and work really hard. But it's just about building young people. I'm a strong believer in the statement that we are all an influence, and there's not a neutral influence. You're either a positive influence or you're a negative influence, right, and you get to choose which one you are. That's right. So on the people that are around you. So I'm really kind of encouraging these kids to be obviously positive influences on each other. And that's the standard.
And I think you said the kids have bought in, and from a complete outsider, I think that's accurate. I have heard some kids even talking like, man, like, things are different. Like, I think they know. Well, they're like, I heard a kid say, yeah, we can't cuss anymore. Like, they're like, things are changing, and they're taking note of it. And it's awesome that they are buying in.
Some of the funny things that I did for the summer that all have a purpose behind them was obviously no foul language, including the music. I pretty much picked the music stations every time. And I know the kids were really loving it because there's a lot of, 80s hair metal and 90s rock and, a lot of heavy metal stuff. I feel like there's something about that music that kind of boosts testosterone naturally. But then we'd listen to 80s country music one day or whatever. It was really funny. One day, every once in a while, the boys would be like, hey, since it's, our break's coming up, or this was the last day of this session, can we have dogs scored? Can we pick the music? They have like, yes, but the rules, no, nothing. It's got to be edited. It's got to be clean. Like, we got you, coach. And the boys picked one day, I said, what station are we listening to? They said, it's called white girl music. So, they're funny like that. But they really have. And obviously, I kind of feel like the no foul language thing. I know from my ministry background, I'm personally really not offended by foul language. I've been around it my whole life. Sure. I understand that that's the vernacular. Obviously I have a lot of military in my background. I personally wasn't, but and that's just kind of the way it is. Yeah. And so I'm not personally offended, but I feel like there's a much better way we can communicate with each other that people don't get offended. And then plus as a coach, a kid gets frustrated and he drops an F-bomb on the field. That could be a 15-yard penalty that could be crucial in the game just because you're frustrated, and find some other way to channel it.
That's right.
Kids don't realize that there's reasons behind. It's not, oh, that's just bad and I don't like it when you say it. I mean,
exactly.
It's more to it than that.
Yeah, exactly. One of the other things I did this year was obviously the footwear stuff. That's more of a safety thing. Like they couldn't wear, slides, or they had to wear tennis shoes. A lot of my high school guys like to lift barefoot, and I don't have a problem with that. It's kind of impressive, actually.
It's scary is what it is.
It's a little bit scary, but some of the things is like to do it barefoot. And so you're having to use those. We did a lot of stuff this summer that worked those little bitty auxiliary muscles, a lot of ISO holds and things like that. So they kind of are, that's part of it. So I don't mind that if it's a safe situation. But the other thing I said was, you are only allowed to wear black, red, gray, or white. Nope. And then on Wednesdays, we always had what we call our Warrior Wednesday. It'd be a special workout we would do, more of like almost like a CrossFit or military style training, where, they're having to do a certain set of lifts in a certain amount of time, or as many times as they could in a certain amount of time, or they were, it's just a difficult thing where everything's going on a specific timer. Like you start when I blow the whistle, you stop when I blow the whistle, you rest while, and then, so we always did the Warrior Wednesday. So I'd let the girls wear pink on Wednesdays, and I'd let the guys wear camo. I'd let anybody wear camo if they wanted to on Wednesdays. So, but even that little thing of like, you can't wear a green shirt or a pink shirt or a blue shirt, or, you had to wear school colors, and part of that. And what's funny is the kids were the ones pointing out, oh, he's got a blue shirt on today, coach, because they recognize, and it's all part of there's a psychological building. So when I told the kids, like, we're going to work on not just your bodies this summer, but we're going to work on our minds this summer. That's part of it. We're going to work on our personal discipline this summer. We're going to work on spiritual things this summer. Even if you're not a person of faith, there is an element of spiritual obviously I'm a person of faith. I believe there's spiritual need, and the truth is through Jesus Christ. But apart from that, there is a spiritual side to man. And so working on that sometimes you're competing against yourself in your spiritual life a lot of times. And so how do you do that? How do you deal with that? And so that's kind of the things we did this summer, really focusing on. And so the kids, like I said, I really feel like they bought in. They saw the value in it. The other thing was we're early. We start at 7, which means that we started our stretch lines at 5:55. Like, I didn't have to tell the kids. Like the first day, I said, this is what we're doing. The second day, I explained it again. This is what we're doing. By the third day, they would just do it. So we had a lot of coaches show up this summer. Had great coaching support this summer. We would have anywhere between 5 to 9 coaches there based off of what their summer schedules were allowing them to do every day this summer. Of course, once we started football practice, and, I was there for the high school boys and I had to leave. And some of my coaches would come in with me, Coach Lacey Cook and some of the others really picked up the slack on the girls in middle school. And so sometimes they were running with 3. Our middle school group was so big that we had to split them into 3 groups. So we were kind of having a half-hour rotation. We actually lengthened their time from an hour to an hour and a half, so they could do a half hour in a competition thing, and then a half hour in running and sprinting, and then a half hour in the weight room, kind of splitting those groups up just to be able to get everybody in.
And to get some of those coaches up that early.
Oh yeah,
is a chore.
I tell you what, though, one of the things I changed whenever I came in is they were starting lifts workouts last year at like 6 a.m. And I was like, no high school kid wants to get up at 6 a.m. in the summer to start lifting. I said, that's part of your issue. They were saying we don't have a lot of good turnout. That's like, you're starting too early.
Right.
7 a.m. is good.
Yeah.
But, kids not wanting to get up at 5:30 in the morning to get up to school.
I was referring to my daughter going up there to be a coach. And she was like, it's 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Get up there, you lazy thing. She was one of the ones when she was in high school is when kind of the summer getting the girls involved started. And her and my son would have to wake each other up to get themselves up there on time. And of course they were always stopping by Cohen's to get some food before they ran up there, or they'd get it on the way back. But she says, this reminds me of high school. I said, good. I'm glad it does.
It really is. For some reason, I feel like Missouri starts early, like earlier in the day than everybody else. Like
a lot of dairy.
Not in my house.
Well, I feel like even school starts a little bit earlier here. Not the date of school. My Oklahoma buddies are actually in teachers in service today. Hey, have fun with that.
Yeah. Wish you luck.
But like the school day starts earlier.
Right.
We didn't have to get to school till like 7:45, 7:50 in the morning. Now we're gonna have to we have to be there at 7:15.
Yeah.
So getting up at 5:30, I think every morning this summer has been good for me to be able to get that done.
Well, and you talk about the kids buying in and the stuff that you're showing them. And I think from what I've heard, they respect you because not only are you doing these things, but like you're showing them. So the nose deal, you got a little,
I got a little
up there.
Yeah.
And I heard some kids talking about it. Do you want to tell us that story? What happened?
Sure. That's not really a big deal. I always wind up hurting myself with middle school kids. Almost 10 years ago, I broke my arm during the weight room with middle school kids. But we were at practice the other day, and it was one of those, like one of the last practices. We had a lot of kids go on vacation and stuff. So I think we had one of the kids that said, "Coach, I got to go to the bathroom real bad." And I was like, where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10? Where are you at? He says, "I'm about at a 8 to 9. I'm like, "Well, go ahead and go. Go ahead and go."
Yeah, that's
so
close.
Yeah, I was like, we don't need to have that problem out here. So
it involves a bop.
Yeah. So I stepped in to play some linebacker, and I was basically showing them how to. This is how you fill a gap as a linebacker. We were kind of going a little bit, half. It was scrimmage. We're running plays. It was offensive series, so I get in there and I've filled the gap greatly. But I had one of my middle school kids come off a double team like a pro, and I caught a helmet right here in the nose and just bloodied the nose up. Had a big old gash cut right here. My nose is bleeding. And I was like, I'm just going to try not to get blood on you guys. Let's go next play. And so I played like 3 plays at linebacker with just bloody everything. Didn't fix it. The kids are kind of looking at me like, okay, coach is crazy. But
that's kind of stuff that endears you to the.
Sure. Of course, I was like, usually we do a little team meeting before and after practice, like just a little short, like I'll have a quote of the day, and I'll let the kids, if they have prayer requests, and the kids will pray for each other. It's kind of a great thing that they've really picked up on. And I outlined, this is what we're doing today in practice. And we'll kind of do the same thing at the end of practice. We'll kind of recap some things that maybe we learned, or, some of the things that we did, talking about, being coachable. And I was like, you guys got the meeting. I'm going to go clean myself up. They're like, sure, coach. I got in there. I was like, oh, that's a big gash. So actually I put Band-Aids on my nose because it was just like a big open gash there. And then I had to go talk to the Rotary Club. Right. So if you've seen that picture on Facebook and you're like, what's up with that guy? That's what's up with that guy. He's too old to be playing middle school football.
Love it.
Kind of had that Neil Smith look. I don't know if you remember Neil Smith, but he always put tape across the bridge of his nose in every football game.
I actually found one of the pictures of he was a linebacker for the Houston Texans. He always seemed to be bloodied up.
What is it? That one?
No, not JJ. I can't think of his name right, but I sent a picture of him. I was like, and I colored in a mustache on him, and I sent our coaches have a group chat. Says like, this is me at middle school practice today. One of the coaches like, yo, you had a great mustache back then. He didn't know because he is in teacher training, so he didn't know what had happened that day. And so I was like, no, that's from today. And he's like, what? The next morning he's like, oh, okay, I see what you're talking about.
That makes sense. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. And
Brian Cushing.
Brian Cushing, yeah.
He seemed to have a bloody face every
that game. Man. Yeah. That was he was good. He was a good linebacker. Yeah. My goodness, he was so good. So you got questions, Coach?
I've got some fun. Are you ready to have fun?
Let's do it.
I mean, I don't know what we've been doing.
If we haven't been having fun this whole time, I'm not sure.
No, we're about to have fun.
Okay.
We've saved the fun for the end.
Can I plead the fifth in here? Is that an option?
No. This is not a court of law. You have no rights. Who on your team, player or coaching staff, would survive the longest on the TV show Survivor?
Ooh. I would.
Okay.
I hate to say that, but I'm kind of one of these guys that.
Are you a Survivor guy?
I am. I am a.
When we stalked, because we stalked your Facebook
sure,
page to try to do research, and when we did that, so were you some kind of fishing guide too? Was that a thing in your past?
It wasn't a fishing guide, but I did work for a fly shop down in New Orleans. They booked these trips to go into the marsh and catch redfish, so I did work for them for a little bit. So I did a little bit of that stuff, tied flies and things. But I've also I kind of like to just I think I have ADHD. I'm not positive on that one. I haven't been diagnosed, self-diagnosed, like
And
a
that
lot of
works,
us.
right?
Yeah,
Kid
sure.
not diagnosed.
Same thing. Where I kind of get like obsessed with different things. And so it might be like for a while I was building bows, like
Right.
stealth bows. I killed a deer with one,
Awesome.
with an arrow that I built with the
Okay.
arrowhead that I made with feathers off a turkey I killed,
Awesome.
it
You
was
sound
pretty
like
great.
you're from Louisiana now.
Yeah, exactly. I've, I saw you guys did a podcast with the Forged in Fire
Right.
guy here. So
Yep.
and one of my sons actually like, Dad, you need to do that. And I was like, no, I don't need to do that. I like to play with that, but I have a forge and I used to make a lot of knives and stuff and just different things. So I've done a little bit of that. Tried to do the flint knapping thing and I just wound up with a whole bunch of broken nut rocks.
Right.
But hunting, fishing from Louisiana, that's just kind of, you grow up doing it. So a little bit of that survival stuff. I just enjoy doing it. So I feel like I would have the skills to do it.
Okay.
So and I'll eat anything. So there's that too.
That's
Yeah, I
a
can't
big
do
key.
that. That's
So from Louisiana, you
I was
eat
going to say there's another one of those. I was going to say there's a lot of fly fishing up here. We've got Bennett Springs, which is east of here a little bit. Trout fishing down there, and of course down by Branson, there's
I've done Branson a few
Tacoma.
times.
Yeah, there's some nice trout fishing down there. And there's some other places too. That's just two I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. So
March 1st is trout season, by the way.
You've been studying up on that too?
I know that. I've been there.
Okay.
And I mean, tell you want to be close to a fella, go on March 1st because there are elbow to elbow down there.
I've never seen it not.
Especially
right there by the hatchery.
Yeah,
got like 30 guys standing right there.
I tell you, I don't
strip of water that's 3 feet wide.
I don't know how people aren't catching flies and all over the place.
You're not supposed to cast. That's what a guy taught me. He's like, you're too far in the water. That's where your problem is. I'm like, what? He's like, come over here. He's like, just drop your line right there. And I was like, hooked up with one. I was like, okay.
No kidding.
So
there's the secret.
Yeah. So
who wins in the 40-yard dash today? You or your starting quarterback in the team?
Ooh, I'm going to say my starting quarterback's probably going to win that.
Okay. It's going to be close.
It might be close.
Okay.
It might be close.
Okay.
I
So
don't think Carter's that fast if he's the starting quarterback. Just saying.
I don't know. Carter's pretty
He's long
athletic.
though.
He is.
He takes like 8 foot strides.
Yeah.
Down the court in basketball, he's there for like 2 steps.
He's excited because I told him we're going to run the quarterback a little bit more this year. So he's like, okay, let's do that.
Good kid.
So yeah, he's great.
Good,
Because
good.
so
And
many
is he
great kids.
Is he going? Is he a junior this
He's
year?
going to be a
He's a
junior
junior.
this year.
Okay, so you'll have him for a couple years.
I have a really solid senior class, but I have a big, good sophomore class, and then my juniors are all contributors. So
Great.
See, and that's how you have sustained success.
Right.
I mean, you need the senior leadership, and it sounds like you
yes,
have it.
I have it.
But then you also need the kids that are going to be there next year and the year after. Like you have to be building them up. Continue. It sounds like you've got.
What's funny is that I've got a lot of like freshmen and sophomores that I thought were older. I knew who my juniors and seniors were, but I thought a bunch of my sophomores were juniors.
And then you're
coming
excited
in.
to find out. You're like, oh,
they're all
I've got you for 3.
Yeah. And a couple of freshmen I thought were sophomores, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucas is a great kid too. A DK.
Yeah.
Super
They're
young man.
wonderful guys.
What's your go-to gas station snack?
Oh.
Ooh, it really depends. Probably some sort of pop. Y'all
Okay.
are pop up here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
I
Coke
don't know.
everything's Coke in
I'm
Louisiana.
a Coke guy. I'm Southern Arkansas.
Yeah.
I'm a Coke guy.
Everything's Coke,
Sweet tea for me.
but there in Oklahoma, it's all pop. And I didn't know if we're soda or soda pop or pop up here, but probably some sort of thing. And I'm not like a hard fast. Like my wife is a Dr. Pepper girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
If she wants something to drink, it's going to be a Dr. Pepper or Sonic sweet tea. So
Yep. Sonic sweet
love
tea.
a Sonic sweet
Really
tea.
good.
So probably some sort of pop. If I'm feeling real froggy that day, maybe an energy drink. And then it'll kind of vary. Probably either some sort of Doritos,
Okay.
or like pickle cashews.
Oh,
Pickle flavored
I
cashews.
just discovered those like 2 weeks ago.
Those are legit.
Those are pretty good.
Or a sour gummy worm.
Okay.
So
Okay. What are you?
Oh, well,
or beef jerky.
That's me.
I would say
Beef jerky.
I'm going beef jerky, or if you're at like a truck stop, I'll do a roller dog. I'm a sucker for good. I actually, so
There's no good roller. You always said I'm a sucker for a good roller dog. There is not one. Go ahead.
they're great. I was going to say,
They're
I'm
dogs.
so much of a sucker. I've got one in my garage now. My wife told me you don't buy a hot dog roller because she likes to tell me not to buy stuff. And a little bit later, a guy came in here wanting to buy a sign, and he was buying it for a concession stand trailer. And I was like, you know what? I'll trade you for that roller dog, this sign. So I went home that day and I told my wife, I was like, I acquired a hot dog roller. She said, you bought a hot dog roller?
No, I didn't.
No, ma'am, I did not buy it. Well, how'd you get it? I acquired it. And so now we have a hot dog roller in the garage.
I bet she appreciates that very much.
I tell you what, she uses the heck out of it now. She was skeptical, but like even last night we had brats on the roller. So she's game for it now.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I would tell you what my snack is, but it makes me seem very, very, very whatever.
What is it now?
Corn nuts.
Corn nuts.
Oh,
It makes you sound old, is all it does.
Yeah.
does it?
It's like that's an old man snack.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't think it's. I think it sounds very ick.
I feel like my dad and
No.
grandpa were corn. I guess like
Corn nuts,
it's like an old
and
man
they got
snack.
new flavors, by the way. They're stepping up to the.
I won't sleep on a ranch corn nut,
See,
but
see,
yeah.
and they got these street corn. I think it's Mexican street
You
corn
probably
nuts.
Bucky's probably has a huge selection.
You know what? I've never seen those at Bucky's, and it really kind of disappoints
You should go
me.
look again.
Don't worry, my wife's not watching because we'll be down there.
All right, two
Those Bucky's.
more. Finish this sentence.
Oh boy,
This season will be a success if
that's hard.
I know. I thought that
There
was
could go so many different
Yeah.
directions.
different things I could say on.
yeah.
I think some of the boys would say if we beat Adrian week 1. I think a lot of people would say
I
that.
was gonna say I wouldn't be mad about that.
I would say I'm gonna give the very PC answer.
Sure.
If these boys are men at the end of the year.
I like
like
that
it.
a lot.
So
I like it.
That means more, honestly. And I know, obviously, you look at high school sports and you go, well, what was your winning record? Blah, 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 blah. But it really comes down to, because I used to tell my kids all this all the time is, I'm not raising you to be a 13-year-old. I'm raising you to be an adult, because you're going to be an adult a lot longer than you're ever going to be a kid. So therefore, I'm going to raise you to be a good adult. And that's obviously what you're talking about.
yeah,
there.
I mean, we're going to win some games this year. I really don't have a doubt about it. I hope that we really surprise some people this year. Not that Butler is not a good team, but has been kind of in the mediocre.
Sure.
The last couple of years.
I say that very kindly.
It's accurate.
But I think we want to make a good playoff run this year, and I think we have the tools and everything that we need to be able to do that. So.
Well, and I'm excited because I think you can watch it. There's a cycle. I think when a new coach comes in, that group, that first year or two, if you really get them to buy in, because okay, we want something different, and they buy. I mean, it happened when Webb first came in.
Correct.
His first year was really good. And, that was the thing he had said. He was like, the kids that I inherited, they were kind of tired of what was happening. They wanted to win more games, and they just bought in, and we were able to do what we wanted. And it sounds like you're kind of seeing that same trend of, okay, this is something different. This is something fresh. Everybody's buying in. It's kind of the newness it's kind of a honeymoon stage.
Yeah, it is a little bit. We really want to kind of set a standard to where
Yeah.
this is just what it is. And really kind of make that as far as, this is what we do at Butler. And I've been telling the kids all summer, I am a I'm the football coach, but I am an athlete coach. I don't want us to be just good at football. I want us to be good at basketball and wrestling and baseball, golf. I want teams, whenever they see Butler's on the schedule, they go, oh no.
Yeah.
Right.
That's really what I want. But it's all about the process between it. So if you maintain doing the process that's necessary to do successful things, the success will come.
Absolutely.
I love Nick Saban for, a lot of his coaching philosophy. And he's like, we don't worry about the scoreboard. We worry about the next play.
We're about things the right way.
We're about doing things the right way. And so when you do that, the scoreboard takes care of itself.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so
Absolutely.
I think that's a great mentality to have as a coach.
So the last question, we're going to actually shift gears. So we, obviously we are openly to talk about Jesus in here because we all appreciate that. And your ministry background, what do you have a core verse, a favorite verse, a verse that you like to proclaim? What's your go-to verse?
I love Romans 8:1 that says, there is no condemnation for those that are in Jesus Christ. Yeah. And so I love that because it just kind of gives you a piece about life is hard. It doesn't matter if you're a follower of Jesus Christ or not. Sometimes followers of Jesus Christ, the life is harder. And so a lot of times it's really easy to really focus on the failures, focus on the difficulties. Mm-hmm. And when you look at that, you kind of work the other way. And then there's Psalm that says that if you devote yourself to God, then he will give you the desires of your heart. I find that's because you kind of line up with him. And if you're lined up with him, he's going to take care of the things that you're passionate about. And I've seen that so many times in my own life where it's not my plan. That's not how I would have done it. And then God just kind of like hands it to you. And I think that's a wonderful thing because you might be really trying hard to do this or do that, and it's just not working. And you're just kind of like, God, I'm just going to devote myself to you. I'm going to follow your plan, whatever is in your will. This is what's going to happen. And then he just goes, okay, cool. Since you're on my page now, there you go.
Yeah. Finally you came around.
Yes, exactly. So,
well, and I love Romans 8:1 because first of all, I think Romans in general, it highlights all of the gospel message. I mean, it wraps it up perfectly. And Romans 8:1, I think that is the core of the gospel message. Like there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ. And I think when you understand, when I was a minister, I'd have people that I'm scared of Judgment Day, or I'm scared, and I'm like, why? Like, what are you scared of? Like, if you truly believe that Jesus on the cross took the weight of all of our sin, like what?
Then he's just like
Romans 8:1. Therefore, there's no like just trust in that, trust in him,
paid for, him, taken care of, done, done, over.
And I think to have fear of that is to downplay what Jesus did.
Right.
It's to say, oh well,
what he did was not enough.
Yeah, you didn't quite. You didn't cover my sin. I still have to answer. No, that's not how that works.
So, I think it's just a great way of confidence to be able to live those things out. And it's what I try to do as much as possible in life. And sometimes I'm not very good at it, and other times just seems like it comes naturally, but it's never me.
Well, and we're weak, he's strong too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I love it. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're in Bumper.
Appreciate it.
It seemed, and again, everybody I've talked to so far that has been around you or been in the program has had nothing but good things to say. And like you say, I do think people are buying in, and I'm excited for football season to start.
I hope I don't let them down.
It's coming quick. It's coming quick. So, and you get on Mission, look up schedule, and find out when you can come watch the Bears live.
So we've got our our jamboree in Holden on the 21st, and then the big one, 28th of August. So it's coming up before we know it. Yeah. Adrian's coming to town.
Yeah. My birthday's the 29th. So for my birthday, that's what I want, Coach. Give me a win, okay?
You got it. That's what we're going to go for. So
that's awesome. We want to thank Coach Rhodes for being here with us on Tailgate TV. For Cody Morris, I'm Brad Davis. Thanks for watching.
When your brand needs some magic, come on down to C&S Graphics. Banners, decals, cards, and more will make your vision hard to ignore. Your graphics deserve to be cool and stylish. Service that's local, friendly, and honest. Need it done right? Don't delay. Call 479-385-1120 today.